Hi sisters, I'm Lorna Cox for those of you that don't know me, and I've been asked to do a short presentation on home canning, water bath canning. And I'm going to get into all the different parts of this as we move along. One of the first things that you need to know is you need to be clean. Cleanliness will make the difference in how your product turns out. If you're not clean, you're not going to have good results at the end. You need to be careful. When you're doing this, it's hot, so make sure you're using the right equipment. Hot pads, see my cute ones with the lemons. Aprons for catching drips and to help protect your clothes. If you've got little kids, make sure that they know that they need to be careful. You need to be consistent. That means once you know the process of doing this, it's the same thing over and over until you're like, what do you mean over and over again? Yes, consistent. You are cooking, and so the foods will change as you do the canning process. Then you need to check that you have done every step correctly so that you are happy with your finished product. Now, I like to do different things, so I have this handy dandy cookbook with some of my favorite recipes in it. And one of the ones that we've done is apricot fondue, which is yummy over ice cream and pancakes. Before we get into the equipment, why can? Okay, why? Well, you know what quality the food is before you start. And you know the ingredients that go into your home canned items. It's fresher food, it's right, and it tastes better, which is one of the fun things about this. It stores longer than freezing, and it'll be on your shelf, so if you say, hey, we need applesauce, you can go get it. And it's cheaper, especially if you glean. Now, gleaning means that you go to a field or an orchard and you harvest for yourself. A lot of this that you see, we have either gleaned from our own trees, or we have had somebody donate them to us, or we've grown them ourselves, like the tomatoes. And it's fun to do, especially if you involve your family. Remember, sisters, no martyrs. Make it fun. Do it with a friend. Share your equipment, because if you're just starting, you may not have enough money to buy both the food and the canning items that you might need. And then we've been told that we need to learn self-reliance. By knowing how to process foods, then we can be self-sufficient, and that we are prepared, and that we are following the prophet and the word of the Lord. So where do you start? All right, you will notice this is not just a regular water bath canner. This is a steamer, and I really like it for lots of reasons. First of all, it only uses this much water instead of 2.5 gallons. It's lighter. It's easier to take the jars out when you are finished, especially if you are canning larger jars and they need to be taken out because they're hot and they're heavy. One of the things I have found, a little tip for you, is I've used, actually, this is one of the insets that goes into my pressure cooker. So when I am doing tiny jars, it will sit inside, because when you look at this, they have a tendency to tip, and then they can crack or break. When you are using your jars, one of the things you want to do is to check the rim to make sure there's no little chips in it because if there is, it will not seal and it will spoil. And then everything's wasted, which isn't good. Other parts of your equipment, because I don't like seeds in my blackberry jam, I use a steamer. I've used this to juice. It shows you pomegranate pips, and that's wonderful, because then you have a beautiful clear product that rivals anything in any of the best stores. I use different sizes to put my jams, jellies, syrups in for pints, and the small jars and the larger ones for quarts. This will also do wide mouth. And if you aren't sure what a wide mouth jar is, take a look at the top. See how big around it is? This is a regular size, and you need both sizes for different fruits. So when I did these peaches, apricots, pears, my apple pie filling, I need to use different sizes at the top to get my fruit or whatever it is inside the jar without damaging it. Another thing that you need, and I highly recommend this, you will want to put your lids in hot water to boiling, so that when you are ready to start the canning process, you put this in. It has a magnet, and it will lift it out of the hot water so that you can put it onto your jar and then put the ring on. Make sure when you are reusing your rings that you've checked the inside, that they're not rusty, because that will leave a brown ring on your jar and it doesn't look nice, and sometimes it's enough so that it won't seal. Lids come in different sizes. These are regular, these are the wide mouth. And there's two major companies that make them, Kerr and Ball. I don't care too much which one I buy. It's whatever's available. The last couple of years it's been hard to get canning supplies. They do have cheaper lids, but I would not recommend them because you're going to have more failure. Here I get about 99.9% success, whereas I had a friend that lost more than 50% of her product, which is very distressing. When you are making jams and jellies, you will want to use pectin. This is a dry pectin. There's also liquid pectin that you can use. This is what helps thicken it up so that it's spreadable still, but it's not a syrup. Now you can just make syrups, and I have that. That's kind of with my fondue. It's very liquidy. Whereas if you see my jelly, there's a lot of fun things that I can. This is just a small sample of what we do. And I like having the variety because we can say, hey, we want fruit for dinner, and we get it. Or we need applesauce because we're making applesauce pancakes. Or, oh, I need whole tomatoes. Or, I like my own tomato sauce. And you can add onions and peppers into it. These over here are all that you can do in the water canner. This is pumpkin. Pumpkin has to be pressurized. It is a vegetable. It is a low acid food. And low acid foods have to be pressure treated. So if you don't have one, I suggest before you even go out to buy this that you buy, if you have to make a choice, the pressure canner first. You can use it as a water bath. Now when you're doing a full water bath, the water has to cover the jars about to here so that they are totally immersed in the water. When you're using that as a pressure canner, and I'm sure somebody's doing one on pressure canners, you don't fill it all the way up and covering the jars. So this is your jar lifter. It's really nice because for two reasons. First of all, you don't have to try to handle the hot jar. You can take your jar lifter, your hot pad, so you're covered on the top and the bottom. You put it on top of a towel, and it makes it fast and easy and safe. You don't get burned, and you're not going to drop it and break it and have a mess, a hot mess, and that way everyone is safe. If you put a hot jar on top of a cold counter, you might break the jar. It's just one of those laws of nature. I have some old towels that I use just for canning, and they work marvelous. They're old beach towels, so they're big. They cover my whole counter. Sisters, there are a lot of how-to videos on YouTube and other sites where you can follow the directions and do so many amazing things to help you with your food and make it a variety that you can't find in the grocery stores. One of the best places to go is to USDA, and we will provide the link for you because it's nice and long. And there's a 160-page booklet that you can download. 166?
196.
Oh, 196-page booklet that you can download or you can order, and it costs what, $16? $18. See, inflation. We all know about that, right? Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and that it gets you excited. And if you did canning in the past, but you haven't done it right now, just start doing it. This is the summertime. There's a lot of good food available. And go to the farmer's market and see what's available there that you can put aside for you and your family. Know that I love you and that this is so much fun. It's a lot of work, but when you see all of those beautiful jars, they're like jewels. They're right there on your shelf, and you can see all the different colors and enjoy them. So take care. Make it a promise to yourself to try it out. I know you can always contact me and those that organize this special meeting. Thank you. Bye. Mwah.